You know?
Yeah.
He had a hoodie on. He was sleeping in a Wendy's. He was running away. None of these are good enough reasons to kill a human being. I think... I watched the documentary, and I was going to tell you about this actually. A couple of days ago called Do Not Resist.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it for you and anyone who's listening. This documentary was made the year after Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about the militarization of the United States police force. And it essentially talks about how radicalized the police have become in this country. And how they're essentially taught, if you sense any danger, shoot first and deal with the consequences later.
Yeah.
There's no training for de-escalation. There's no training for subdue a suspect without having your hand on the trigger of your gun.
Mm-hmm.
So there needs to be so many police reforms being made, but it can't be left up to the cities and the counties. It needs to come from top down. I don't expect the Trump administration to really do anything about this, honestly. But maybe the next administration.
I don't know if it's Biden. I don't. Shit. His answer is to shoot him in the goddamn leg.
Yeah, I saw that, which is fucking terrible. I know.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Joe?
But at least he can at least surround himself with people who might talk some sense into him about this stuff. Because as much as I don't like Joe Biden, at least he's not a stubborn psychopath.
Yeah.
He is willing to listen to people around him that would give him, that would lead him in the right direction to address these problems. We don't need to get into the election and Joe Biden and all that. All I'm saying is the change needs to come from top down, from the federal government telling to all of the states, to all the governors, hey, you have until fucking 2021. I need every single one of the governors to come up with a comprehensive plan to reform the police in your states, right? And that's really the only way this is going to change. Yeah. Can you weed out racists out of the police force? Probably not.
Yeah.
But you know what you can do? Is instead of having the psychological tests that they give to police officers be at the very end of their hiring process, do it at the front. That should be the first test. Are you psychologically resolute and human enough to be able to carry out the duties of this job without killing someone every other day? Like, stop hiring kids who got bullied in high school into the police force. Stop hiring people who have chips on their shoulders into the police force. Stop hiring people who couldn't make it into the military or whatever into the police force. Because I feel like these cops who commit this type of violence against citizens, and it doesn't just have to be murder either, right? Murder is the ultimate, obviously, but cops are dicks in this country. It's their way or the highway, and if you challenge their authority in any way, their egos are bruised. That's not the way policing should be done in a country that's supposed to be the, I know you would disagree with this next statement, but that's supposed to be the shining light of democratic society as we have it. Go
ahead. It's simple. Stop killing people.
Stop killing people. Stop treating humans like they are your subservience. We give you the authority to police the society, right?
Right.
Because we, in our hearts, want to believe that you have this higher, you know, I don't know how to word what I'm trying to say here. Stop hiring people into the police force who feel like they have something to prove other than just wanting to do the right thing for society. These guys who get hired with these giant chips on their shoulders can't wait to pull the trigger in a moment where they should only be de-escalating the situation.
And I'm gonna end this last story here. I have a friend. She's a reporter. She was down in Minnesota, Minneapolis, when this first started going on. She's freelance in Portland, and keep butchering her last name because I'm not gonna butcher her last name. I'm like, fucking just butcher. But she was on CNN today. We're recording this on a Sunday, June the 13th. Is it the 13th?
Today's the 14th.
14th.
Yeah.
She was just on CNN today. She was down covering the protests and the uprising going on in Minnesota, and she was shot in the eye with a rubber bullet. She ended up losing her left eye, her right eye. Excuse me. Covering, doing her job. Shot for no reason other than she was doing her job. I've seen videos of reporters being attacked by the police. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. This needs to stop. And we can't wait till November for this to stop. This needs to stop now. So if you're taking to the streets, continue to take to the streets. If you've never been out on the streets, get out on the streets. If you're on the fence about it, stop being on the goddamn fence about it and get in the game. And be on the right side.
And you know what? Let me just say something here. You don't have to be out in the streets protesting to make a change. You know what you need to do?
What?
Is talk about it. Talk about it.
It's best
talk
to be
about
on
it.
The streets. Yes, talk about it, but be out on the streets.
No, I understand, but
happens on the streets.
Nick, I understand, but not everybody can go out in the streets. Not everybody can.
If you have the ability to.
And especially during COVID. Look, I myself will tell you, I've protested many times in the past. Mm-hmm. I haven't gone out for this.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to be near that many people with this disease that hasn't gone away yet, you know, lingering out there. What I'm saying is, you don't need to be out on the streets to make a change. Yes, people need to be out there. If you can't be out there, keep talking about this. Mm-hmm. Keep talking about this, not with people who agree with you, but keep talking to people who disagree with you. This is the time to bring this shit up to family members who you feel uncomfortable talking to this stuff about. Because you know what? There's a sea change, y'all. There's a sea change in this country and around the world. And like Nick just said, I promise you, as difficult as these conversations might be, knowing that you're on the right side of the history on this, knowing that you are on the right side of history on this, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if we can look back on this moment and say this was the nexus for the change, you can be proud to tell your family members that, or your kid or your cousin or your niece or nephew, that you didn't stand You didn't resist change. You were a part of the movement. Keep talking about it, y'all. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that.
Keep talking about it. Even as uncomfortable you might make people, even uncomfortable you might be on talking about it. That's the point. You got to be uncomfortable. It's called life. Because change doesn't happen being comfortable. Change happens being uncomfortable, going outside of your skin, outside of your known area. That's how change happens. Because it's only going to get worse. This is not like the next one. That might be it. You might not have enough time to be able to talk about it. It might be grab a rifle and good luck. You don't want to go to that point. Other societies have fallen from that point. People have never gone back to being regular again. So if you're uncomfortable talking about it, too damn bad. Get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. Because this has to stop. Is this going to stop peacefully? Or it's going to stop and it's not going to be something you're going to like.
Yeah. I mean, it, no, what you just said about things might not be the same again, I don't think they will be.
No, it won't.
You know? I don't think they will be. I think something changed in this country in 2020. And I don't know if there's ever going back from it.
Nope.
So, let me read you something real quick.
Yeah.
That someone sent me the other day. This is one of my coworkers who's she's very much into protesting on the streets. Sorry, y'all. Okay. This is something that she saw on, I think on Twitter or Reddit. And it goes, what if 2020 isn't canceled? What if 2020 is the year we've been waiting for? A year so uncomfortable, so painful, so scary, so raw, that it finally forces us to grow. A year that screams so loud, finally awakening us from our ignorant slumber. A year we finally accept the need for change, declare change, work for change, become the change. A year we finally band together instead of pushing each other further apart. 2020 isn't canceled, but rather the most important year of them all.
And that's this episode of Weekend Weird. I mean, there's no other way to end it than that.
I mean, it's, we do these things, podcasts, whatever, social media, memes, all this stuff to sort of distract ourselves from, what's going on.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for being a part of that. Nick, thank you for inviting me onto these. I genuinely appreciate it. But don't let it distract you, and don't get it twisted. Like,
right.
What's going on in the country right now is on the forefront of my mind, and anything I do to distract from thinking about it is only temporary, and my mind goes back to where, to thinking about where we are as a country and where we're going. Not country, fuck that. Where we are as a world, as a human race. So, yeah.
Yeah, the aliens ain't gonna come unless we get our shit together.
Yeah.
How can we go to the stars? We can't fix what's out in the fucking around the corner.
Isn't that, hey, listen, isn't that, honestly, isn't that the most amazing thing about 2020?
Yeah.
During all of this uncertainty, we launched 2 people into space with a rocket built by a private company to the International Space Station. In the middle of all this. And if that doesn't sum up humanity in one, narrative, I don't know what else can.
Right.